How's it going, everybody? Joe Sanok here from practiceofthepractice.com. I hope your day is going awesome. Today I'm going to talk about something that's a little outside of what we typically talk about when it comes to business, but we're also going to tie it back into business. So when we're young, I'm going to draw a little person here. When we're a kid, we have a very me-centric view of the world. It's all about getting food, it's all about my needs, it's all about everything that has to do with me. Now, what happens is we then realize that we are a part of a family, we're a part of a community, it might be a church group. And so we realize that we're actually smaller than we thought we were, that it's not just about me, but it's about my family or my community. And we move from this individualistic point of view, this me-centric view, to what we might call a tribe-centric view or an ethnocentric view. And so we go from, you know what, it's just all about me, and there's actually less out there for me in this broader community. And so I actually matter less within this community, but actually I have more influence than I thought I would have because I'm part of this broader community. So then what often happens is we then are in this kind of tribe-centric view that may expand into a nation-centric view. Draw a little flag there, where we value our specific nation or our specific culture within that nation above all else. But then what often happens is people will then, maybe travel a little bit, and let's draw a little airplane there. Ooh. They may travel, they may have an experience where somebody kind of disrupts what their personal views are of individual tribes or cultures or groups. And then we move and realize, you know what, my tribe or my culture is actually smaller than I thought it was. But actually within this larger global human-centric view, it actually has more influence than I expected. And so when we then move from that ethnocentric point of view, we then move into that global-centric or that human-centric point of view. Now what then often happens is, yes, we've valued a bunch of people in this human-centric point of view, but we haven't moved to a genuine world-centric point of view. And so what happens is we then oftentimes, and I would keep going up, but I didn't leave myself enough space, so I'm going to go down and back up. And then we realize that there's some integration between plants and animals, and let's draw a little bunny rabbit here. That is a terrible bunny rabbit. He looks very mad. Surprised bunny with a fluffy tail. Look at those humans. And so we realize that there's actually a lot that's interconnected. That when we look at the way that the world connects with different levels, that how when things happen in a certain ecological system, it actually affects humans. We realize that actually as humans, we're much smaller than we expected. But within this system, we actually have more power than we expected. So a lot of these levels right now, we've been able to see progress. And we see it in mindset, we see it in culture, we see it in political beliefs, we see it in religious beliefs, where you can almost identify where someone's at on this specific scale of individual-centric or me-centric to tribe-centric or ethnocentric or culture-centric to then human-centric to then world-centric. And we can see that progression. But the last one is what happens when we then move into cosmocentric. And so we see that there's this kind of world-centric view, but then what happens when we realize that actually our world is so small within the cosmos that it's ever expanding. I was looking up if we had Earth represent a grain of sand. I was just Googling around to see how big the universe would be. So if we took the entire Earth and made it as small as a grain of sand, how big would the entire universe be? And I believe it was around 10 million miles across. And so when you think about the expanse of the universe, we don't yet know really how our influence is going to be on the universe. But we do know that we're much smaller than we ever thought, but our influence may be much broader than we ever thought. So there may be more of a universal consciousness. There may be more of a flow. There may be more of a connection and energy between beings than we ever anticipated. And that's what's really interesting about what philosophers and scientists and other folks are discovering right now. And so when we look at this flow, how does this fit into our businesses? Well, I'm actually not going to answer that question for you, because I think that when we look at this, we look at the progress of what happens, it actually helps us to create our own answers around that. So I want you to take this, think about it, go deeper with it, and tell me what your answers are in regards to how you're going to apply this to your individual life. Have an awesome day, everybody. Bye.